right now.
This episode is about the evolution of an aviation decision, one that started on the ground and then evolved in the air.
Fuel over destination of 190 pounds, which is 10 shy of my absolute minimum.
It also highlights how decisions can evolve and change in flight.
An estimated over destination of 220. Situation is now at 270, which is great. You know, keep judging our fuel situation. You're wondering why I did that.
You had the fuel to do it?
Huh? Yeah.
And it also shows how the process of decision-making in flying must always take into account contingencies for the unexpected. And that was just the way down. The return had its fair share of it also. It's life in the fast lane. I'm John Weisswasser, pilot and drummer for Eaglemania. Follow me as I explore the practical use of general aviation while I travel the country with the world's greatest tribute to the Eagles. This is Life in the Fast Lane. This episode of Fastlane brings Eaglemania to The Villages, an enormous over 55 community in Central Florida, for a pair of shows in mid-September of 2021. This set of shows took place at the Savannah Center, a 1,000-seat venue for which we were completely sold out for 2 shows on one day. The schedule called for a 2:30 p.m. sound check, followed by a performance at 4 p.m. and another at 8 p.m. I had obligations at my other day job, which took me until 2 p.m. the day before, but I didn't want to chance it and make the flight on the day of the shows given the timing of everything, so I opted to leave the evening before, weather permitting. The weather pattern for this time of year was fairly typical. Strong high pressure over my entire route, with the usual late afternoon Florida convection forecast to be mostly to the west of my destination. Having a high pressure area to my west also meant that I could expect some favorable winds in my generally southwesterly route. Ordinarily, flying to Florida requires a stop, typically in Raleigh, North Carolina, but this trip might afford the opportunity to do it in one shot. Looking at ForeFlight, which is particularly accurate when it comes to fuel burn and winds aloft, a direct flight to Leesburg Airport, the closest one to the Villages, had me covering the 828 miles from Caldwell in 3 hours and about 35 minutes, with an expected burn of 986 pounds. Not quite enough to comfortably land at Leesburg, given my strict cutoff and visual meteorologic conditions of about 200 pounds remaining fuel. This was based on a 2-knot tailwind. Any improvement above that, and I could maybe avoid a fuel stop. I selected Savannah, Georgia as a fuel stop, given that the FBO would be open as late as 10 p.m. and their gas prices weren't too bad. So I would file and plan the route to Leesburg and make a decision based on my fuel over destination calculations in the air as to whether I would use Savannah or go to Leesburg nonstop. Just a quick note about the Meridian and fuel management. The Meridian holds 1,140 pounds of fuel, or about 170 gallons. It burns about 180 pounds per hour at ground idle, 330 pounds per hour at a climb at sea level, and 265 pounds per hour at flight level 300. In VMC conditions, I aim to land with no less than 200 pounds, or about 37 minutes at my destination. In instrument conditions, in addition to the alternate requirements, I budget no less than 350 pounds at my alternate, or about 64 minutes. So looking at the weather for this late afternoon, early evening flight, Caldwell was reporting 5,000 overcasts, and Savannah was VFR. The forecast was for Caldwell and Savannah to stay VFR, but for late afternoon thunderstorms in Florida ahead of my arrival. Assuming that I would arrive at Leesburg no earlier than 8 p.m., the forecast was for visual conditions with showers in the vicinity. This I would have to monitor en route and work this into my decision to stop for fuel in Savannah or not. The turbulence forecast revealed nothing terrible at my cruise altitude of flight level 300, and the icing forecast had the usual heavy icing and SLD that you would expect with convective activity, namely the forecast convection in Florida, which I would be avoiding altogether. The graphical thunderstorm forecast painted the convective activity mostly to the west of Leesburg, and that it would dissipate over the course of the early evening. NEXRAD, when I briefed this at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, showed that the buildups had already begun. There wasn't much to speak of with PIREPs. Some sealing and turbulence reports in Florida, no doubt related to the convective activity that was brewing, but not really relevant for when I was planning to arrive.
Meridian 9 Delta Alpha, you can contact New York Departure 119er.2, and appreciate you getting that read back right on the first try. That was very helpful.
Thank you very much, and thanks for your time. Over to Departure 9 Delta Alpha. New York Departure Meridian 929 Delta Alpha is 1000, climbing 2000, 180.
929 Delta Alpha, ident, climb to 5,000.
5000, 9 Delta Alpha.
Brickyard 3496 at a 700 for 2,500.
9 Delta Alpha is ready to contact 2 south of Caldwell, leaving 1400. Amend your altitude, maintain 4,000, flighting 160.
4000, 160, 9 Delta Alpha. New York Departure Meridian 929 Delta Alpha is 5000, Rick Delta 8.
929 Delta Alpha, New Departure, roger.
New York Center Meridian 929 Delta Alpha is 7800, climbing 1000.
929 Delta Alpha, New York Center, roger. The Kennedy altimeter 3004, higher shortly.
04, and thank you, 9 Delta Alpha.
Center pushing 5236.
What if I drop dead?
Pushing 5236,
right.
New York
What would
Center,
you do?
280 Charlie, clear direct Bills, intersection.
Direct Bills, 80 Charlie.
I would take
What'd
your
you do?
9
headset.
Delta Alpha, climb maintain 14000.
14000, 9 Delta Alpha.
Don't know.
Alright. Well, the first,
280 Charlie,
the
contact
first thing you would
Washington
do,
Center, 121.02.
the swap, the comm swap button,
Right.
it says emerge. Okay, so
Delta
let's say
1592,
you're over here,
flight
now
present
push
heading,
it.
contact approach
I'll push it and
128.12.
hold it.
Present
Uh-huh,
heading
push it.
128.12, Delta 1592.
Okay, so now it
Number
puts
280 Charlie,
121.5.
Washington Center, 121.02.
that's the
121.02.
universal
80
emergency
Charlie.
frequency.
Good
All right, and if you could talk on that, there's always somebody listening. There's like ATC's always listening. There are other airplanes always listening. You would tell them what happened.
Right. And then they would guide me from there.
They would guide you from there.
929 Delta Alpha, climb and maintain flight level 220.
Flight level 220, 9 Delta Alpha.
929 Delta Alpha, contact Washington Center, 121.02.
12102, 9 Delta Alpha, so long.
3255, JetBlue 1281, good day.
Washington Center, Meridian 929 Delta Alpha, flight level 209, climbing flight level 220.
November 929 Delta Alpha, Washington Center, roger.
Washington, good evening.
So we're at flight level 300, hence the oxygen.
American 2595.
Our cabin's at over 10,000. And right now, given our current circumstance with a 9-knot headwind, we're showing a fuel over destination of 190 pounds, which is 10 shy of my absolute minimum.
340,
What makes it particularly fraught is the presence of convection and showery activity down in Florida. Right now, it doesn't actually look so bad. The problem is there's still going to be buildups and trying to get around them.
November 628 Golf Bravo.
If that goes to 250, 260, then I'd be satisfied with it. With making it in one shot. We're truing out at 271 knots.
And Center, it's Falcon Charlie Golf Juliet Kilo, when you're checking in with you 410.
We're burning 260 pounds an hour with a ground speed of 261 knots. So this number...
November 929 Delta Alpha, contact Washington Center 120.907.
120.907, 9 Delta Alpha.
American 2161, contact Washington Center 121.37.
Swap. Cool. Ken's learning the radios. Washington Center, Meridian 929 Delta Alpha, flight level 300, smooth ride.
Number 929 Delta Alpha, Washington Center, you can Trescott, please continue.
These are the range rings. So this is our range with a 45-minute reserve. And that's our absolute zero fuel range, bingo fuel range.
Crashing into the ocean range.
Right. Still not bad.
No, it's
American
not.
2595,
Make it
Washington
to Key
Center.
West.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Plop on in.
Piedmont 6114, clear
Okay.
direct Snow Hill.
So this is now an hour later. It's about 10 to 7. It's moved off to the west, and I think we could make a good straight shot, right? It doesn't look like there's a whole lot behind it.
November
Right?
525 Juliet Papa, do you have the weather
and we
NOTAMs
have
and know what type of approach you want?
an estimated over destination of 220. One option would
November
be
5, Juliet Papa, Roger, clear direct near.
fly, we're here. We're right now over, almost at Wilmington. Okay, just keep going and see, you know, keep judging our fuel situation. Then make a stop at Savannah, right? That's one.
Roger.
But the reality is there are plenty of airports the whole way down. We could stop in Jacksonville or even Daytona.
6011.
You know, if it really got tight.
Change to advisory frequencies approved. Report
There are a ton of
cancellation
airports all the way
on
down.
this frequency or with flight
So,
stations.
I think
Hi,
Jacksonville is
change
another option. Fuel if we needed to. So I think we should stick with the plan, Ken. Try to do it in one.
I think right now, based on these numbers, yeah. I think doing it in one
And
is
the other
right choice.
the other thing that I like about doing it now in
November
one
881 Alpha,
is
Washington
that
Center. Time maintain flight level
we'll be able to
230.
see the buildups and we'll be able to navigate around them a little bit visually, which I like much more than doing this in the dark.
881 Alpha, climb, maintain flight level 230.
So we're now past Myrtle Beach, south of Charleston, north of Atlanta, and our FOD situation is now at 270, which is great. And the weather there has improved. A lot of these storms, this convective activity has moved out of our way. And I asked for direct to the corner a little bit, and they told me to expect a reroute for weather. That's going to be critical, whatever they decide to give us. So far, this has us on the ground in another 48 minutes, and we have 470 pounds of fuel. We're burning 250 an hour, so that's well within our limits. And the weather there, the weather there is clear. Yeah, it's just clear skies. So it's not like I got to fly an approach.
Any chance we go direct to the cigar?
All good.
Niner Delta Alpha, clear direct Thor, Tango Tango, Hotel Oscar Romeo, Thor 1 arrival. That's Thor 1 arrival.
Okay, direct Thor for the Thor 1 arrival, 9 Delta Alpha. Okay, let's figure that out. The one. Okay, and we're going to expect runway 3. We'll load that.
3715, contact.
We're going to go direct.
132.902, reach 8715.
Tower flight 919,
Thor.
contact Jackson 135.45.
135.45,
Great.
stop at 919 today.
R312 Golf Victor, contact Jackson
even better.
135.45.
Yeah. We're just descended down to 16,000. We're now 60 miles from Thor, and showing on the ground at a half hour.
Over 929 Delta Alpha, contact Daytona approach 118.85.
11885, 9 Delta Alpha, so long. Daytona approach, Meridian 929 Delta Alpha is 16,000, descending to cross Thor at 12,000.
We're in 929 Delta Alpha, Daytona approach, Daytona altimeter is 3000, descend via the Thor 1 arrival.
Okay, 3000, and we'll descend via 9 Delta Alpha. So the weather's clearing out. The timestamp, it's all anticipating.
9 Delta Alpha, I've loaded for you in just a minute. What's your request?
I was wondering if I could get vectored onto the RNAV for 3-1 at Leesburg for 9 Delta Alpha.
9 Delta Alpha, you can proceed direct to refos and join the RNF 3-1.
Right, direct refos for the RNAV 3-1, 9 Delta Alpha. Refos. Go. That in later. Great. You're wondering why I did that.
You had the fuel to do it.
Huh? Yeah.
It's that simple.
And to be honest with you, like I really
Makes life
don't.
easier.
What?
makes life easier.
I'm like looking
November 9
around.
Delta Alpha, descend and maintain 3,000.
3,000, 9 Delta Alpha.
We're at night. This is a field I don't know. I don't know. There's like towers everywhere. There are clouds I can't see, like right in front of me right now.
Sure.
Just, I'm taking the approach, sorry. And
that's perfect.
And we'll take a little bit of a crosswind.
771 Fox Tango, land approach.
That's okay.
Melbourne, 8 is Yankee
approach the
current,
right
landing
way.
to the east. Descend to your discretion.
3,000 till refage cleared for the RNF 319 Delta Alpha.
Vertical track.
Number 9 Delta Alpha, chase to advise frequency approved. Report canceling IFR in the air of this frequency. Or on the ground, you can use 120.22.
Okay, we'll give you a call on 12022 when we're on the ground. Thank you, 9 Delta Alpha, and we're over to advisories.
Who else go?
Okay, you can switch.
0. Leesburg traffic, Meridian is currently about 7 miles southeast inbound on the RNF 31 at Leesburg.
This is always a recurring nightmare for me for night flying. What happens if the pilot-controlled lighting doesn't come up? Here we are, tight on fuel at night, and the runway lights won't illuminate. The options would be to either divert to Daytona, Ocala, or Sanford and further stretch our fuel situation, or continue the approach and landing relying on the landing and taxi lights and the synthetic vision of the G1000 to locate the runway.
There we go.
Thank you. Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
Oh my God.
At some point, a
yeah,
runway better
I was
open
like,
up here.
I was getting worried.
In this situation, had the lights not come up, I would have gone ahead and landed using the onboard lighting and guidance from the synthetic vision. I've trained for this scenario, but never had to do it unplanned. It does illustrate how fuel in the tanks equals options, and no amount of planning can account for random variables like pilot-controlled lighting. I wouldn't say that I would have executed this flight differently, but moments like these are always sobering.
But I wasn't going to say.
I know you were, I could hear you thinking it.
The runway.
Okay.
Beautiful.
I landed with
200 pounds,
yeah, 200.
which is your minimum.
More or less. We did it.
There are stars in the southern sky. Southward as you go. There is moonlight and moss in the trees. Down the seven bridges roll.
The Villages, which was created in 1992, is the largest over 55 community in the U.S. It encompasses 34 square miles and has a population of over 80,000 people with an average age of 68.
Imagine, if you can, a place in the world where there is a beautiful bubble that you can spend your life happily.
Right.
The third act of your life, okay? You've done the bit, you've had your kids, you had the house, you had whatever you had. Now you are going to disconnect from that workaday grind, and you're going to come to a place where every possible need you have is going to be met.
You know, it's like living at the mall. I love it. I think it's just beautiful, and I think you should move here because it's amazing.
It's just this unbelievable concept, and it's Disneyland for older people. That's the best way I could put it.
Given that a lot of what's in the Villages is fake border town, fake lakeshore town, fake Spanish village, it was no surprise that they would enjoy the fake eagles. What do we got here, Jake?
What do we got?
Yeah.
We got
the first of 2 shows.
yes.
Yeah.
Seems to be a packed house.
Yes.
It's supposed to be here in the Villages, Florida.
You know what's funny is we have no idea what the sight picture from the stage is right now. Like,
yeah, that is true.
Like, don't you just want to know like what you're going to be looking at for the next 90 minutes?
Yeah, that is funny. When
Right. It's sort of like it's
you
like
get
all
about
of a sudden
10 seconds to take it in,
That's
and
right.
then you go to work.
That's right.
And that's what it is.
It takes a certain type of person to do this. This is not for everybody. But the people who are here seem to love it. They really enjoy it. We've been to some of the restaurants, we've seen some of the shops. They're always smiling, happy people.
For the flight back to New Jersey, I opted to use Raleigh, North Carolina as a fuel stop. While the 851-mile trip could probably have been done without a fuel stop, my concerns about early descents into New York, and particularly the weather, made Raleigh a logical and comfortable choice. The overall weather that day was complicated by a cold front that was draped across the northeast on the backside of a low-pressure area, which promised the possibility of convection along parts of my route. In the morning, when I briefed the flight, it was VFR at Leesburg, Raleigh, and Caldwell. In Leesburg, the forecast was for the development of storms after 3 p.m., with VFR all morning. Raleigh was calling for showers in the vicinity and broken at 4,000 around the time of my arrival, and Caldwell was forecasting marginal VFR with showers and a ceiling of 2,500 feet. Not enough to have to legally declare an alternate, but enough to mandate a fuel stop so that I had enough reserve in the tanks should the conditions deteriorate. The icing forecast included the possibility of moderate icing in the high teens and low flight levels, no doubt associated with convective activity and to be avoided entirely. The turbulence forecast was relatively benign. The graphical thunderstorm forecast had the progressive development of storms over the course of the morning along my entire route. Not a surprise. PIRAPs hadn't really started trickling in at that point in the morning, but there was one from a Pilatus at 16,000 for some light clear icing, which caught my eye. At the time that I briefed this, most of the convective activity in Florida was well off to the west, slowly making its way eastward. I was more concerned about the conditions in the northeast, where there were already cells forming along my route, and where I would not have quite the freedom to deviate around them, especially since I would be on an arrival through DC and Philly's busy airspace. As anyone who has GoPro cameras knows, they aren't the most reliable. In this case, the camera mounted to catch the instrument panel wasn't operating properly, and didn't capture anything until the very end of the flight, about the time that the other 3 cameras failed. To make matters worse, the XM weather wasn't working either in the G1000. This happens occasionally. It's usually fixed by cycling this XM circuit breaker, but that didn't work this time. So I was relying on ADS-B NEXRAD being piped to my iPad from the Garmin transponder.
Go your route, because everyone's been going to the northeast and I've been giving them all shortcuts.
Great, thank you, 9 Delta.
November 9 Delta Alpha. If you need to deviate, just let me know.
We'll go 9 Delta Alpha.
Aviation's left of course approved, direct Columbia when able.
Okay, 10 to the left and direct Columbia when able, 9 Delta.
Because we are IMC at flight level 290, I was relying on the ADS-B NEXRAD and onboard weather radar to avoid the convection, which was already firing up much earlier than had been forecast. When I can't actually see with my own eyes the buildups, I'm much more liberal about asking for deviations.
Thank you.
Jack Center, Meridian 929 Delta Alpha is vacating flight level 280 to cross 20 south of Tenney at flight level 240. We're currently deviating to the right by 10 degrees in Tenney when able for 9 Delta Alpha.
All right, 929 Delta Alpha, Jacksonville Center, descend to maintain 17,000, floor and altimeter 3007.
Down to 17,000, 3007, 9 Delta Alpha. And 9 Delta Alpha is direct Tenney.
All right, 9 Delta Alpha, roger that.
Our center, Meridian 929 Delta Alpha is flight level 227, descending 17,000, direct Tenney.
Number 929 Delta Alpha, Washington Center, welcome. Raleigh altimeter 3010.
109 Delta. Raleigh approach Meridian 929 Delta Alpha's 15,400 descending to cross Buzzy at 11,000 with Bravo.
November 929 Delta Alpha, Raleigh approach 23 right.
23 right, thank you, 9 Delta Alpha.
The arrival into Raleigh was uneventful, in good VFR weather, and we landed with plenty of fuel. The approach and landing were typical, and after a quick turn, we were back at it on our way back to New Jersey.
So we're in Raleigh, fuel stop. That was a fun flight. What can you do? I guess you just make use of what you have, but it all worked out okay.
DBM 929 Delta Alpha, turn right heading 270, runway 23 right, cleared for takeoff.
270, clear for takeoff, Meridian 929 Delta Alpha, 23 right.
A60, all green.
November 9 Delta Alpha heading 270 and contact departure. Have a good day.
Departure 270, thanks for your help, 9 Delta Alpha, so long.
See you.
Raleigh departure, Meridian 929 Delta Alpha, so 1,200, climbing 3,000, 270 sign.
Number 929 Delta Alpha, Raleigh departure, radar contact, climb and maintain 4,000.
4,000, 9 Delta Alpha.
Number 46, Bravo Lima, squawk 5330.
We're up to 11,000. Oh, this is much better.
Number 9 Delta Alpha, contact Washington Center 118.75.
11875, 9 Delta Alpha, so long.
Awesome.
Wash Center, good afternoon, Meridian 929 Delta Alpha, 7,000, climbing 11,000, heading at 050.
Meridian 95 Delta Alpha, Washington Center. I'll have a little bit of routing for you in half a minute here, just to get you around some restricted airspace.
Roger that, 9 Delta.
So now we're going up to flight level 200, and it'll be good to keep an eye on the stuff that's building up. There's an area of connection sort of along our route. We may need to deviate around a little bit, but other than that, it's pretty clear. I don't expect that we will be up here
9 Delta Alpha, contact Washington Center,
for very long.
127.75.
12775, 9 Delta Alpha, so long. Wash Center, Meridian 929 Delta Alpha, 16,800, climbing flight level 200, direct range.
929 Delta Alpha, Washington Center, roger, climb, maintaining flight level 210.
Flight level 210, 9 Delta Alpha. Wash Center, Meridian 929 Delta Alpha, checking in with you, flight level 210, and I need 10 degrees to the left for a build-up.
929 Delta Alpha, Washington Center, roger, deviating left approved, direct Louis when able.
Okay, deviate to the left, direct Louis when able, 9 Delta. But yeah, you can see we'll tilt down, we'll get a better return, because as you get closer, the angle, you know what I'm saying? We'll pick up red, I'll pick up, see?
Huge.
It's actually not that big. That's not
It's
so
not
bad.
as high as we usually are.
Yeah, no, that's not a huge one, but that's enough to stay out of it. I wish. Well, you know what that is.
Yeah.
Center 99 Delta Alpha, we can go direct Louis now, if that's okay.
9 Delta Alpha, clear direct Louis.
Okay, so we've been given a crossing restriction, us Louis, at 13,000, which starts our descent in about an hour, I'm sorry, a minute and a half. And when we look at the NEXRAD, there's this,
Connection 1, roger, fly that heading.
this area right here, which will probably go around a little bit. but we got it nicely on the weather radar. So as we descend into this little bit of an overcast, I'll be able to maybe navigate around it. Go left. You hear our heading. There's very little wind.
Vertical track.
That takes us right there.
15,000.
And Center 99 Delta Alpha started our descent across Louis at 13,000. Wondering if we could get 5 to the left, just around this cell that's 20 miles ahead.
929 Delta Alpha, cleared direct to, deviating left's approved and direct to Louis when able.
Okay, we'll go to the left and then direct Willie when able, 9 Delta Alpha.
9 Delta Alpha, direct backing.
Perfect, direct backing, 9 Delta Alpha.
Pretty obvious.
I was about to suggest it.
A little bumpy here, you think?
I don't think it'll be too bad.
929 Delta Alpha, cross 25 south of Backy at 13,000.
25 south of Backy at 13,000, 9 Delta Alpha. Delta approach, good afternoon, Meridian 929 Delta Alpha is 16,400, descending across 25 south of Backy at 13,000.
Number 929 Delta Alpha, Potomac, low Baltimore, altimeter 3013.
139 Delta Alpha.
9 Delta Alpha, how's the ride through there?
Smooth ride for 9 Delta Alpha, but we had to deviate around a couple of those cells.
Okay.
How are the rides ahead for 9 Delta Alpha?
Nobody's complaining about anything, but I got traffic heading down your way.
And New York, Meridian 929 Delta Alpha, 5,700, descending 4,000 Delta.
9 Delta Alpha, New York, descend to 3,000, expedite.
Expedite to 3,000, 9 Delta Alpha.
9 Delta Alpha, fly your present heading, vectors for the RNAV 4 into Caldwell.
Present heading, vectors RNAV 4, 9 Delta Alpha. New York, Meridian 929 Delta Alpha is 3,000, direct Yovan Delta.
Number 929 Delta Alpha, New York approach, Caldwell, altimeter 3023.
23, 9 Delta Alpha. Okay, Yovan, I believe at 2,000, cleared for the approach, 9 Delta Alpha.
9 Delta Alpha, affirmative, cross Yovan at 2,000.
2,000, Yovan, 9 Delta Alpha, cleared for the approach.
Cheers, 1 Charlie Victor, descend and maintain 4,000.
4,000, 1 Charlie Victor.
Did say 3,000 initially.
Yes.
November 929 Delta Alpha, radar service terminates, remain on your same beacon code, contact Caldwell Tower 119 on point 8.
Over to Tower, 9 Delta Alpha, so long. Call Tower, Meridian 929 Delta Alpha is with you inside Yovan.
Meridian 929 Delta Alpha, Caldwell Tower, altimeter 3022, wind 0407, runway 4, clear to land.
To land 4, 9 Delta Alpha.
Alright, manual, lights, lots. 20 degrees, 3 green, bro. One more notch of flaps to go. Of course, a huge bug had to leave its remain right in my sight line. Right? Perfectly centered on my sight line. It's just always that way, right?
Wind 0509er.
Thank you.
500.
3 green.
Tower 509.
Minimums. Minimums.
22 November, southwest through Morristown.
To the 50906, Caldwell Tower, hold toward runway 22 at November, traffic landing runway 4.
Okay, should we be going to runway 4 as well?
906, yeah. If you could contact ground point 9er, they'll send you to runway 4.
That bird wanted to kiss us.
Totally missed
See
it.
that?
No, I totally missed it.
You could make out the feathers.
Huh.
Put your hand down. Put it down and leave it in your lap. Squeaker. All kind of.
9 Delta Alpha is for the Charlie T's.
Meridian 9 Delta Alpha, turn right at Bravo, contact ground point 9, have a good one.
Yeah, over right on Bravo, ground 9 Delta Alpha.